everyone. My name is Patrick, and today I get to bring you your daily dose of hope. About 5 years ago, my family and I took a family vacation and found ourselves really one of the most beautiful places in the world. I've traveled a lot, and it really is just absolutely breathtaking. We went to Glacier National Park, and we went to going to the Sun Road, and we parked at Logan Pass, and we decided to take a trail, a little hike on this trail called the Highline Trail. And it literally, the width at some point was, almost, maybe two people wide could scurry on by, and it was a large cliff on this side and this huge drop off on the other side that went hundreds and hundreds of feet down. And the views, like I said, were just absolutely breathtaking, from waterfalls out in the distance, and the sun was just shining bright. It was just absolutely amazing. Now, I could spend all day talking about this and describing what it was like, but it never is going to be the same as experiencing it for yourself. I can talk about it, try to describe it, try to paint that picture, but until you stand on that trail and look out at the scenery, it's gonna pale in comparison. There's a story in Luke chapter 9. In fact, all three Gospels talk about that. Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the Synoptic Gospels, talk about this story. And I try to put myself in the shoes of Peter, James, and John, who saw Jesus and his glory revealed in a powerful way. And I know they try to describe it here, but I think it pales in comparison to what it actually would have been like. Let me read the story. Luke chapter 9, starting verse 28, says that about 8 days after Jesus said these things about picking up your cross and following him, it said he took Peter, John, and James with him and went up into the mountain to pray. As he was praying, the appearance of his face changed, and his clothes became as bright as a flash of lightning. Two men, Moses and Elijah, appeared in glorious splendor talking with Jesus. They spoke about his departure, which was about to bring the fulfillment at Jerusalem. Peter and his companions were very sleepy, but when they became fully awake and saw his glory and the two men standing with him, as the men were leaving, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good for us to be here." So he looks at this, all that's going on. He sees Jesus in his glory. He sees Elijah and Moses, and he says, it's good to be here. He wants to extend this time with them. But it says he did not know what he was saying. Verse 34, while he was speaking, a cloud appeared and enveloped them, and they were afraid. As they entered the cloud, a voice came from the cloud saying, "This is my son, whom I have chosen. Listen to him." When the voice had spoken, they found Jesus alone. The disciples kept this to themselves and told no one at that time of all that they had seen. I can just imagine Peter, James, and John standing there and seeing Jesus, his face as bright as lightning. And I can imagine that just pales in comparison to what really would have been like for them to see Jesus transfigured, is what it says. Glorified. Someday we're going to have the opportunity to see Jesus in his full glory. And I think it's going to be beautiful and amazing, and yet terrifying all at the same time. My encouragement to you as we walk through the Gospels, as we look at Jesus, as we see his life, as we study his life, to look at both his glory as deity, as fully God, but also his humanity as fully man. We need to merge both of those ideas as we look at who Jesus is in the Gospels, and it helps paint a fuller picture of Jesus, our Messiah, and what a glorious day it's going to be when we get to see him in all his power and splendor. But as we study Scripture, let's keep both of those things in mind. Jesus, fully God and fully man.